Afternoon, everybody. Hope you're having a fine day. I'm Zachary. This is Breadstone Ovens Live, and today we're going to be making apple pie.
And I'm Antoine. Welcome back. This is our day 6 of doing those recipes. So we found a fun one. As always, we're going to be cheating a little bit. We'll do a first pie. Since we make apple pie, we're going to put it in the oven. We're going to let it cook while it cooks. Zach will be showing you how to make the dough and then how to cut the apples, because you want to make sure that your apple look really nice and nice little cut like that. So, well, without further ado, you go ahead, Zach.
Okay, so first we'll take the pie crust.
Okay, so this pie crust, we bought it pre-made. We had some in the fridge. We thought it was perfect. But if you don't have one pre-made, we'll show you how to make one. It's actually really easy. So we also have a pie dish. That's just a ceramic pie dish. You can use a metal one. If you don't have one, you can use a brownies tray. They work well as well. And so as Zach is doing, he's just placing the pie. And so you put the pie in there uncooked, and then you start putting the apples. And so when you place the apples, I'm going to show you, you have that nice slice. And so how do you put them, Zachary? You don't know? Alright, so you put them and then you're going to overlap them, kind of like that. So they make a nice spiral, and so they all face the same way. And it's interesting, if you look at an apple, there is one side that is going to be smaller, the bottom is going to be smaller than the top, so you put the smaller at the center, so when they fan, well, they take a little bit less space. So that takes a minute to do that. And so the reason we picked apple pie today is because we had some apples sitting on the countertop, and we thought that they would be perfect. And then we also had the recipe, and so looking the recipe, it doesn't even require any eggs. So some people made a comment, they said, well, you know, how about a recipe that doesn't require any eggs, because we can find eggs. And so all that it takes to make the one that we picked is going to be just flour, water, butter, and sugar. Alright, we're almost done. Go ahead. Yeah, you can curve them a little bit so you have a nice here. You turn it around and keep curving. We're going to have a nice design.
Yes.
It's kind of like a little bit of a Tetris game / puzzle. Puzzle without having all the right pieces, so sometimes you have to play with the pieces that you made just to see what it looks like. Okay, I think that's pretty good. So go ahead now, what do you put?
Now we will start sprinkling some sugar and cinnamon. All we did was we combined half a teaspoon of cinnamon and about half a cup of sugar, and we just sprinkle it around the apple.
So feel free to be generous. It always tastes better when there is a little bit more sugar. So feel free to go ahead. And so yeah, you sprinkle it right over it. While Zach is doing that, I'm going to open the oven. In terms of temperature, we have the oven at 400 degrees. So again, feel free to use any type of oven. Wood-fired oven is great. You can use the residual heat. If not, you can just use your home oven, again, set at 400 degrees.
Okay, I'm
Looks
going to
good?
add a little bit more because I'm generous.
Alright, so be extra generous. Alright.
And there we go. That looks good.
So, do you want to show what it looks like to everyone?
Yes, it looks like this.
Alright, fantastic.
And now we're going to put it in.
So if you want, here a little trick, if you want your pie to look like a traditional French pie, you can fold this side a little bit over. Go ahead. There we go.
There we
So
go.
that retains some moisture, so that's nice. So put it in the oven, and close the door. And you want to show us how to make the dough, Zachary?
Yes.
Oh wait, did we set the timer?
Oh yeah, that's fine.
So let's start with 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Okay.
So first you're going to add about half of your flour. That is about 2 cups or 250 grams. Well, they'll all all the flour is about 2 cups or 250 grams. We're going to add about half of it.
Okay.
There you go. And then we're going to add our salt, which is about a pinch of salt.
Okay.
And then our sugar, which is 3 teaspoons of sugar. And then this is where we add our butter.
Yeah, before you put your butter, take your little mixer right there and mix all your dry ingredients.
Oh yes. And
you want to make sure you don't have the salt or the sugar stuck somewhere. If not, when you bite into it, it tastes funny.
So we're mixing it with this, which is actually made for helping mix with butter and flour. So now I'm going to start adding the butter.
And so your butter, your butter, just take it out about an hour before you use it, and you dice it in about 1/4 of an inch cubes, just to make sure that it will warm up faster, and then when you go to mix it, it will be a lot easier.
Now I'm going to start mixing my butter and my flour until it gets into a crummy feel.
Yeah, so yeah, it takes a little bit to mix the butter and the flour. The idea is that you want to make sure pretty much every single grain of flour is nicely coated with butter. So it's going to make the crust really flaky. And what's going to be important when you do that is that you're patient. If you try to do it too fast, it's not going to work as well. If you use a paddle mixer, or I should say an electric mixer, use the paddle. But when you mix it, don't do it too long. If not, you are going to overwork the dough. It's not going to be as flaky as you want it to do for your crust. So it's starting to nicely come together.
Yes, so now I'm going to add the other half of flour on top of the butter to make it even more flaky. So we have 1 stick of butter,
Okay.
and that's about 115 grams.
And so what we liked about that recipe again is that there was no eggs required. I know some people say, well, I go to the store and they don't have this, they don't have that. I understand. It's why we try to come up with recipes that are fairly simple in a way that if you don't have everything, that's okay. There is always an alternative. And so, really we don't need to worry. There is no food shortage. It's just right now we tend to buy a little bit more because we're worried. And so there is more in our fridge, more in our cabinets. And so we see less on the shelf, but that's nothing to be worried about. And so, when we came up with that recipe, we decided, okay, what do we have? We don't go to the store but once a week. So that crust again seemed really ideal because the way you're going to make it work together. At the end, what is the other ingredient that you haven't put in yet?
So we haven't put in our water.
Okay.
So we're going to put about 70 milliliters of water.
Okay, and so what did you learn today? Because you saw in the recipe it says 7 what?
Oh, it's put 7 centiliters.
All right. And so so since we homeschool the kids, we always try to find an opportunity to make them learn more mathematics. So here in the US, we use a lot of cups and teaspoons and tablespoons. But if you go to Europe, we use a lot of grams, milligrams, not milligrams, but milliliters and centiliters. And so what did you learn today, Zach? So what's a centiliter?
It's 10 milliliters.
Yeah, so a centiliter is 1/100th of a liter, and a milliliter is 1/1000th of a liter.
So
Okay, that looks pretty good.
that's pretty grainy. So and it's also about 1/3 of a cup of water.
Exactly.
So we're going to start sprinkling it around the water, and then it's going to start getting the doughy feel that everybody
is looking for.
Yes.
Okay. So there's a point where you're going to have to stop using that mixer.
I'm about to stop using it, and I'm going to start using my hands, which is just about now, because it's starting to stick a lot.
Perfect. Okay.
There we go. So I'm
going to help you scrape it, and you can start with your hands. Alright. There is extra butter. I don't want to miss out on the yummy butter.
So I'm going to continue mixing it. And now I'm going
You're almost there. So again, one key factor is that you want to make sure you don't over mix your dough. If not, it's not going to taste as good. It's going to be less flaky. Alright, and the phone is ringing, so that's always a good thing when you run a business.
So I'm going to start forming a ball with the dough.
And mix it just a little bit more.
Yeah. So there we go. It's starting to get.
It's going, yeah, just a tiny bit more, and you're good. Yeah, so you're going to see it's kind of until you put it in the fridge right now, the butter is really soft, so it seems like it's not holding. But once you have worked a little bit your dough a little bit more, you're going to be able to make a ball. You put it in the fridge and you let it rest for how long? Do you know, Zachary?
Like an hour maybe.
Okay, so you can let it rest a half hour is enough or an hour. The idea is that you want to really re-solidify the butter, so when you go to stretch it, it doesn't crack too much.
So I'm going.
Yeah, mix it just a little more. Here we
Yeah.
go. Like roll it, break it, roll it. Here we go. That's perfect.
Yep. So after this, we're going to show you how to cut the apples.
Okay, so go ahead. Show what it looks like.
So it looks like this.
Perfect. Is it flaky? Is it easy to break apart?
Yeah, it's really easy to
Okay,
break
perfect.
apart.
So we set it aside. It's good.
Yep. And then
We
now.
put it in the fridge. So clean your fingers a little bit.
And now we're going to show you how to
Here.
cut
Cut
the
it up.
apple. So here is our apple, and whoop,
Magic!
it's
It's
peeled.
already peeled. How about that?
And then we're going to take our knife, and I'm going to start cutting it. But
So be careful. It's a really sharp knife. So
Yeah, yeah.
watch your fingers. So go ahead. Cut it in half.
Yeah.
And then you put it flat, and then you recut it in half.
Gotta cut it in.
Oh no!
It
Zachary,
hurts.
what did you do?
My fingers, I accidentally cut it.
Oh no, Zachary! What did you do? I mean,
I cut my finger.
oh man. Okay, well, I mean, what are we going to do with that apple right now? Can we make the apple pop? Huh? You have 9 more fingers, Zachary. Who cares? Just one finger. Okay,
I
April
don't
Fools,
know.
guys. Alright, so go ahead, clean up.
Okay. And it was an apple that was rotting, so.
Okay, so we had an apple, you can see it was already all rotted, so we said, hey, what are we going to do with that? Oh, now I have blood on my hand. You put blood everywhere, Zachary. So we thought, hey, let's put it in the trash. Like, no, let's make a joke for April Fools. And so Zach said, how about if I cut myself? I have fake blood. So here we are. Alright, so are your hands clean?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So are you going to show everyone? So here, let's move that mask. And I'm going to go clean my hands. We had planned for it. We had put like wrapping. So show what an apple should look like once you cut it.
So an apple looks like this, but basically, so you take the round apple and then you like kind of cut it in half, and then you start cutting it at an angle, so it forms a nice
Here.
angle.
You can show them this one. There's no blood on it.
So you cut it in half, and then you first take out the.
Don't cut yourself for real now. We'll be in trouble. Mama will not be happy when we come home.
Yep.
Okay. So
And
maybe I
then,
should
so
sew.
then you have to cut it at an
And here goes one finger. So you cut it at an angle.
and
So the idea is that every slice needs to be kind of a perfect wedge. So when you go to fan them on the pie, it's easy. Yeah, there we go.
there we go.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we have a little bit more to make another pie.
Yes. And then
Okay,
I
so-
think
How much time is left?
we have about 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Alright, I'm going to check it. Let me see, let me grab something so I don't grab myself. I had it somewhere, here we go. least another 10 to 15 minutes. So I'm going to put it back in. And since we don't want to just be standing there trying to fill the time with just chatting, we'll take some pictures when it's all cooked, and then we'll post them on the blog and on Facebook. So thanks again, everyone, for watching. We really appreciate it. Again, if you have any suggestions for recipes, feel free to send us an email at breadstoneovens. You can go to our website, breadstoneovens.com. Go to the contact page. There's a form you can fill out. There's our phone number. There is our email, which is info@breadstoneovens.com. If you want to see that recipe, I didn't post yet the recipe for the crust, so I'm going to do that now. But there is an apple recipe that is already on the blog. So once you're on the blog page, you can just search apple or apple. I think we put Apple Tarte as a description, and then we'll answer any question you may have. So again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.